Look at this. Centrists to launch a forward new third U.S. political party. Do you realize what that means? A centrist to launch forward third U.S. party. So they're starting a centrist party. Do you understand that we have two right-wing corporate parties in America right now? We have two corporate right-wing parties. And they're both conservative. I mean, AOC said that when she was running for office the first time. She said, let's just be honest. The Democratic Party isn't a left-wing party. It's a center-right party. She said it was a center-right party. And it is. But sometimes it's extremely right-wing also. I mean, extremely corporate. So what if this is a centrist party? That means they're going to be in the center of an already right-wing center party and a far right-wing party. That's the big idea. So now what this is my theory. Andrew Yang is not, he's no different than Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. He is those guys. That's who he aspires to be. That's the circles he travels in. That's his mindset. And that's who are going to be the people who are going to be funding this party. Believe me, it's going to be people like that. And so this is going to be a very corporate-friendly party. That is not what we need. They're going to be pro-war and corporate. I guarantee fucking to you. So what he's saying is it's not a center party. It's going to be a right-wing party. Corporate. That's the problem. All his solutions are corporate. He came up with the idea, his big idea and contribution to the conversation during the last election was that he had basic income. What is that called?
That's it. A universal basic
basic income. UBI, universal basic income. And that's a good. The studies that they've done, they all said it doesn't make people work less. It doesn't give them a disincentive. The only people who worked a little less were students, which was good because they were spending that time studying. So universal basic income was his big idea, but he wanted to fund it through tax. He didn't want to tax so like the big idea was, hey, they're going to get rid of truck drivers because we're going to have self-driving trucks. That was his big idea, right? Which I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but then they're going to have all those people out of jobs. And he was like, we're going to have to do something. So we're going to have to give them a universal basic income. And then how is he going to pay for it? Are you going to tax those companies that just saved all that money by not having to pay anybody to drive their trucks? You're going to tax them? No. He's going to tax you. It was going to be a regressive tax, right? Am I correct about this, Nick?
Yeah. That's just it. I mean, there's two different ways to do UBI. You know, one of them is where you kind of use it to supplement what exists as a social safety net, which in this country is atrocious. We have no universal programs. We have no universal health care in this country. We have no universal.
But that's not pre-K. That's not even how his was going to work.
College. That's right. That's the good way for it to work. He wasn't even going to do it that way. You know, his way, which is what the billionaires want, because I think there's a big portion of the ruling class now that believes that a basic income is inevitable, as a result of automation. And Andrew Yang has expressed that perspective. And so, the version that they want is where you dismantle the rest of the social safety net and you basically use the universal basic income to replace the minimum wage. And you control the working class by adjusting where the basic income is, to keep everybody kind of like just desperate enough, to still create the necessity and the demand for cheap labor.
So that was his big contribution. And so now he's joining with former Republicans and Democrats and to start a third party. It's called Forward, and it's initially be co-chaired by Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang and Christine Todd Whitman. I could say to myself, all right, I don't like Christine Todd Whitman's track record. But maybe she's ready to shake off the corporate duopoly too, and maybe she's ready to do something. No. Well, how do I know this? The party which is centrist, has no specific policies yet. That's how I know this. That's how I know this. So they're not
pro-peace.
They're not even coalescing around an idea. They're just coalescing around, hey, let's pretend this is a fucking head fake from the oligarchy. That's all this is.
Yeah.
This is hey, let's give some people the idea that they can vote for a third party. But I guarantee you, they are not going to run against Joe Biden and Donald Trump. If there was do you think they would do that, Nick? Do you think Andrew Yang would run third party against Donald Trump and Joe Biden and try to steal votes from Joe Biden?
Well, he's been soliciting billionaires to run with the party and to join with the party. Mark Cuban, Elon Musk. These people, like you pointed out, they have the same this is the ruling class. These are the people, the richest person in the world. These are the people who have the very same interests that sustain, the permanent war economy, the people who keep us from having universal health care in this country, who impoverish the country. So I think that they may run someone else, because I think that essentially what the Forward Party is becoming is it's becoming the U.S. version of Emmanuel Macron's En Marche in France. We've been predicting, and I've been predicting at the People's Party, that when elites in the ruling class in the United States finally drive the Democratic Party into the ground, like they make it so unbelievably unpopular, that they're going to do what French elites did, a strategy that the ruling class pioneered in France. And that is that the ruling class here in the United States will create their own third party that pretends to be populist, that pretends to be anti-establishment, but is really run by all the same business interests and billionaires that ran the Democratic Party and run the Republican Party. And then that will be their ploy to pretend that there's a third party once they have essentially demolished the Democratic Party, which is, I think, where we are.
I think you're right.
I think we're seeing that right now today. And in fact, a month ago, I wrote something that predicted that, in fact, this very thing was happening. I've spoken to people behind the scenes who have told me that this is happening as well, including some of the ballot access experts that work with us have told me that there are some secretive groups looking to form a third party and who are looking to potentially run a presidential candidate. So I could actually see them running someone like you asked, Jimmy.
So how are they going to pull this off? Well, in an interview, Andrew Yang said the party will start with a budget of about $5 million. Hey, Nick, is that what you started your party with, about a budget of $5 million? What the fuck? No. They're going to start with a budget of $5 million. It has donors lined up and a grassroots membership between the three merged groups, numbering in the hundreds of thousands. We are starting in a very strong financial position. Financial support will not be a problem. That should scare you, that he says that. He knows that so this is a construct of the billionaire oligarch class to distract you and make you think you have a choice. And who's going to be funding it? Billionaires, guys like Mark Cuban. Now, I got nothing against Mark Cuban. I like watching him on Shark Tank. But we don't need to run the government like a business. That's not how that doesn't work. And it's not a for-profit machine. And that's what this guy knows. So, and this guy is more the same. So if you liked what you got from George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump, you're gonna get the same shit from him. Andrew Yang, my third party would be a natural home for Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who hates unions, who does not. I like the idea of people coming together to fight against the oligarchy. That's not Elon Musk's thing. He is the oligarchy. And he wants to hang out with them. He is also. This is a head fake from the oligarchy. So there's three groups coming together. The merger involves the Renew America movement, which was formed in 2021 by dozens of former officials in the Republican administrations of Reagan, Bush, Bush II, and Donald Hump. Can you believe that? These are the people. The Forward Party, founded by Yang, who ran for the Democratic president, but he became an independent, and the Serve America movement, a group of Democrats, Republicans, and independents founded by former Republican Congressman David Jelly. So these are just more right-wing corporatists who are not going to get the corruption out of government. They're not going to legislate in the interest of the worker. They're never going to stop the wars. They're never going to give you Medicare for all. They're never going to give you a living wage, and they're never going to empty the prisons. That's who they're going to keep the slave labor going in the prisons for sure. So, all right, there's your third party, America, because America wants a third party. Here, I'll show you this. I think I have this here. No, here it is. Support for the third U.S. political party at all-time high point. This is from when? February 2021. America's desire for a third party has ticked up since last fall and now cites a high in Gallup's trend. 62% of U.S. adults say the parties do such a poor job representing the American people that a third party is needed, an increase from 57% just the September before. Support for a third party has been elevated in recent years, including readings of 60% in 2013 and 61% in 2017. All right. Well, and then there's a graph if you need it. If people like graphs, you can look at that. So we know it's almost 2/3 of Americans are ready to vote. And then it goes up even higher if their choices are just Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Though people say they would vote third parties, it's almost, I think, at 70%. So look at that. So that's just 15% of each party of the electorate would vote for a Republican or a Democrat. So 15% would vote Democrat, 50% would vote Republican, and then 70% would vote third party if it was Joe Biden, Donald Trump. So that's what made me think about running. And that's and then when I saw Andrew Yang pulling this stunt, this is a stunt. This is not a third party. This is another corporate oligarch party. Okay, that's all this is. Okay, Nick.
It is.
Nick Brana has been our guest. Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say it underscores the importance of creating a real third party, that is, that does stand for the policies that the majority of Americans want, like, healthcare for all, a living wage, ending the wars, the things that we can agree on, and that's one of the reasons that we, as the People's Party, that's one of the things that distinguishes us from the other third parties that exist, other third party movements, is that we believe that the things that separate the right and the left are not as big as the things that we have in common. We share a common enemy now. The oligarchs, the billionaires, the people who are oppressing all of us. You use this union example of when workers go to the shop floor to organize a union. You would never, ever be able to organize a union. It's the most successful institution of left power, of worker power in this country. You would never be able to do that if you went in and you said all the Trump voters out, all the conservatives out, all the socialists out,
all the gun nuts out, all the libertarians out. You can't. That's who's ever left. Now let's organize. That's not how it works. So Christian Smalls just proved this to be true in Staten Island. He went in and he organized a bunch of Trumpers into a union to fight against Jeff Bezos and the oligarchy and Amazon, and he won. And that's how he did it. He talked to them about their common interests. He didn't talk about them about the culture wars. He talked to them about economic progress. And that's the last thing the oligarchy wants us talking about, is making economic progress. That's why they do identity politics. That's why so that's my old joke about anyway.
And when you take that same message of economic populism and you apply it to a party, that's what scares them. Yes. Because that's what threatens to unite people into something that could really take them down. And that's the impetus behind things like the Forward Party and this new direction and iteration that it's going, that it's centrist. It's all to head off the emergence of a real third party that actually fights, brings together working people from the left and the right and fights for the things that we agree on.
Well, that's definitely one way they're going to do it, by creating a fake billionaire funded third party and call it centrist.
Right.
Okay. All right. Nick Brana, the People's Party. Good luck organizing. Good luck getting it done. All the odds are stacked against you, and everybody knows it. And good luck fighting off the disingenuous attacks.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay, take care, Nick. Come see our stand-up comedy. We'll be in Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Indianapolis, Louisville, Cincinnati, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Detroit, lots more. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets.